Hey guys, what's up? This is our little bonus episode for .hack GU. After you complete the game, you have a small little thing you can do afterwards if you are so inclined. So, in every .hack game, GU and the original series, they kind of break the fourth wall and send you an email just letting you know you've completed the game and that you can, once you save your game here as like clear data, then that can be transferred over to the next volume. It's necessary to do that if you want to transfer your data over. You can't just like have like a save file right before the last boss or anything like that. You gotta actually do that clear save data, which I did off screen, so I didn't exactly show what it looks like. Oh, what do you want? I'm explaining something.
With the online Jack investigative unit at the home of one of the doll syndrome victims, where an electrical device has gone on a brutal rampage. Sakaki. This was the mysterious word uttered by Osamu Kawaguchi just before he lost consciousness.
They can't mean that totally good guy in the online game, right?
Here. Well, everyone, I'm here at the Takeuma University Hospital, where Osamu Kawaguchi is being treated for doll syndrome. And as usual, I'll be wearing my hidden camera goggles so that we can go undercover and penetrate the belly of this beast.
I like that the person filming just took that shot diagonally. It was really professional.
Oh, nurses! It's a party! Carnival! Samba!
Man, you can just do anything on fake live online news TV.
I'm sorry, are you okay? Oh, it's you.
Senorita, this reunion was written in the stars.
What are you doing here?
I'm here to visit little Osamu. That okay, Michi baby?
Don't you dare call me baby, you creep!
Terrible news! Huh? Head teacher! Oh, it's only you!
Mr. Sugai, how is Osamu doing?
Well, you see...
Mr. Sugai?
Osamu Kawaguchi has disappeared from his bed.
Huh?
What is this?
Huh?
What are these words? Skaith? Innis? Magus? And I can't make out the rest.
What if Aseo and his friends started up now? Oh. God, thank God we don't have to listen to that guy again. I appreciate that they're in here, even though I don't like those segments. I do think it's neat that, you know, they went to the trouble of animating like this little real-world side story. It's kind of like a toned-down version of .hack Liminality, which was a 4-episode OVA series. Each episode came with your copy of each of the 4 original .hack games. They're much shorter, so I realize it's not like the same weight or anything like that. But if this guy was the main character, I don't know, I'd kind of prefer him short, to be honest. He's obnoxious. He's also not Pyros the Third, because he does share the same voice actor, and I can see how, since both of them are very loud characters, one might jump to the conclusion that, is this the same guy, but it's not. But, anyway, so, whenever you complete a .hack game, there's usually something extra you can do at the very end. I think I've explained this before, but if you've forgotten, in each of the 4 original games, there was a bonus dungeon and a bonus boss that you can get a unique piece of equipment from. This one has I've been calling it Cernunnos, and I'm probably gonna still call it Cernunnos, but I don't know. Cernunnos. God, I feel so stupid not being able to pronounce it, but it's the way its letters are arranged, just, it doesn't, like, roll off the tongue well. But anyway, we're doing that quest. All of those random areas that we've seen on the message boards up until now, where it's just like a hallway, and at the end of the hallway we fight some zombie goblins, and there was like an evil magician, Vital Vista. You need to do all those before this quest becomes unlocked. I am not sure if you can like hold off on them after the game and just do them all at once and then do this. I'd think you'd be able to. I don't see any real reason why they would lock you out for something like that. I don't think it's like a timed event or anything. But for this one, I brought Syllabus and Gaspard because, I don't know, they grew on me, and we haven't really had a dungeon with them for a while. So I just wanted to take them along with me just for this bonus one. I kind of felt like having a more balanced party, and since we were forced to take Kun and Pi into the final battle, I figured, you know, we'll just do this. And plus, Adeli's out of commission. You know, even though you can keep playing the game and leveling up your characters in preparation for the second volume if you wanted to, unfortunately, you can't do a thing with Adeli, and I'm kind of surprised, because usually in the first series, even if a character was unavailable for most of the game, you'd still be able to play with them afterwards. Like in Volume 2 of the first series, Mia was actually surprisingly unavailable for many different parts of the game, but once you beat the game, you were able to play as her again. Only characters that have officially, like, for story reasons, are unable to join your party again, can't join your party again. So, I don't know, it'd be weird if Adeli was suddenly available to play with, even though what happened at the ending was still, like, up in the air. But, so I can see why you can't really play as her, but it's still just kind of weird. But this dungeon, I was exploring this dungeon for a long time, and I cut out most of the exploration because there isn't anything in here, really. There's a few battles, and that's it. It's actually a pretty empty dungeon, which was disappointing for me, because part of the reason why I decided to take Syllabus and Gaspard was thinking, okay, I can get some levels for them, but that wasn't happening.
I'm starting to get goosebumps. I wonder what kind of monster this Cernunnos is.
Cernunnos? Cernunnos? Is that how it's pronounced? I'm never gonna remember that. We're just gonna keep calling him Cernunnos or whatever. But it's weird, because these monsters in here, like, half of them are the super weak ones we fought the first time, and other ones are more closer to our level. I don't know why they're mixed up like that. I guess it's like monsters that each of those Vital Vistas summoned, maybe? But anyway, I thought I'd just leave the battles in here since we're not, like, looking at the dungeon at all. I'm also a little disappointed that there's no actual unique dungeon design for this. I shouldn't be too surprised considering how lacking the designs for areas are in GU, but I don't know. It was one of the cooler things about the original series. You got like a completely different, unique type of area, even if it was just like something very simple, like the outside of an area, and then inside was the same dungeon, which I think is all of those, but I don't know. It was just like a cool feature. I can't remember what .hack Infection's unique outer dungeon area looked like at the top of my head, but I know the second game, Mutation, that had a really cool one where you explored like an upside down city and walked on a bunch of pathways before eventually going into a castle style dungeon. So that one always stuck out to me. And the third one had a very, very kind of lazy one where it was like a unique area outside, but I don't know, I think you were on something that was flying in the sky and it was just like a short little platform before just going inside. But it was cool they did that. I guess the last game didn't do anything special. They had that 15 floor dungeon, but that was just in a regular area. So when you meet these guys again, we're taken to the Lost Ground, the Indigit Lu place where we met Endrance at the beginning of the game. Except it's like a warped, twisted version of it. I don't know. Maybe it's just that way because of what's here. But, I forget this story exactly, but if you read the, like on the world's front page, their background story for this game, it is cool, because Indigit Lu was a place that was relevant to the character of Cernunnos, and then his brother had killed Cernunnos and sent him to, like, the equivalent of hell or whatever, and that's how it became, like, the Lord of the Dead. So it is a nice touch about GU that they, like, that these quests follow the story background that they gave. I'll give props to GU for that. They're just a little bit more than just random things happening. But this guy is pretty big. Like, this guy's probably the biggest monster in the game. You do face monsters just about as tall as this, as bosses. I don't think we ran into any in this volume, but I think they do exist in this volume if you want to go out of your way to random areas and fight bosses in fields and stuff. But strap yourselves in, because this battle is going to take a little while. We're a little underleveled for it too. I was actually debating whether or not of stopping halfway through and leveling up a little bit just so this can go by a little faster, but it's not really too bad. We do manage. I think Haseo's at an okay enough level, but Syllabus and Gaspard are kind of low. I'm gonna be using these Nightbloods to try to get some people's defense up. At least Syllabus's. I'm not exactly remembering what I did here, but as you can see, this is one of those areas in GU where it's gonna chug a little bit. I guess this is a little too much for the PS2 to handle, or maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm not a game developer, guys. I don't know how it works. All I know is when something interesting or unique happens on the screen, like the fight with Tri-Edge for the last boss, the game starts to move pretty slowly. That one attack he just did, where he just punched Syllabus and Gaspard straight across the screen, you're gonna want to watch out for that one. That one, spread yourselves, well, man, I hate that you can't really, like, give more direct commands to your other party members, but try to stay away from the other guys, because, you don't want to, like, all be caught up in that. That hurts, and, like, it took out Gaspard already. I think this is where I started realizing that your mages in this game don't sit back and, just cast spells like in the first series. They will actually go up and start attacking enemies, even though they're mages and their attacks are like shit. So yeah, I put Gaspard to life. I was hoping it would kind of keep him out of the way, but then I'll also have someone else helping me on healing. But just like the fight with Triads, you're gonna want to be concentrating on the healing in this battle. It's pretty good that we haven't had to worry too much about it, and we can just leave it up to the computer, but as the games go on, you're gonna want to make sure you're in charge of the healing items too. Something else that I didn't really notice until the post-game boss all the way in Volume 2 is you can actually tell your party members what items to use and what skills to use. I really, truly believed in this playthrough that wasn't possible, and that you could just give them those 4 different strategies and just kind of hope for the best. But if you go into your skills and your items, you can select your other party members and have them use something, and as long as their like recharge bar isn't filling up, they'll do it. So if your other party members have something on them too, just don't be afraid to have them work on that. But yeah, this guy hits hard, and does damage. Does a lot of damage if you're unprepared. Keep up on the healing. Like, every time he hits you back up against the wall like that, it's a good idea to heal, even if he didn't take off like a terrible amount of health from you. But yeah, it's just kind of this. It's kind of like just keep going. I don't think he throws anything more sinister than just raw power at you, so I think you'll be able to handle him even if you lose your first time against him. I think if you level up a little bit, it should be more than fine. I do like that they gave him his own battle music, though, because it's like, one of the things I'm disappointed about is when you fight a story character and it's not an avatar battle and it just plays like the regular monster boss music. It just seems like a little disappointing, because it feels like it should be like a more important battle, but it's like not. Like the battle with Tri-Edge, I'm still disappointed they just played his regular battle music, the regular boss battle music there. Like, and it was a final boss too. Like, they definitely should have had like something else there for him. Yeah, and don't forget, if you use a skill, you can't use an item right away until that bar charges back up again. I always kind of forget about this. I don't think there's any recharge time officially for using an item, but Haseo will just kind of like stand there in place using the item until, you know, the effect is done. But anyway, so let's see. I talked about so much stuff about .hack.gu in this Let's Play, and in the last episode specifically. I guess now would be a good time to like finish up some thoughts about it, but I kind of forget what I talked about already. I know I shit on GU a lot. Like, a lot. I don't hate the game. I don't know, I guess I still like it. You know, I'm having enough fun playing it, but it's kind of like just one of those things where it's like I'm so critical because like I care a lot about it and I want it to like be better than what it is, especially because of how much the first series meant to me. And you know, like this GU series meant a lot to me too when I was first into it. I mean, when it came out in 2006, I showed this to my one friend, and the two of us like were really in. Well, I know I was really into it. Him, I don't think quite as much as me, but he still played the games like alongside with me. Like he got them when they came out, and we talked about these games like a lot and the characters in them. And we were both pretty big anime and manga fans, so you know, whenever we were going to like stores to look for like the newest releases of stuff, you know, I'd be picking up new DVDs of .hack Roots and new manga volumes of the many things involving GU. Come to think of it though, I'm not sure how many manga titles were related to GU. I know there was the one, and it was like an abridged retelling of the series. I gotta look through like my freaking giant boxes of old manga to see what I actually have, because I honestly don't remember, because there was this 2-volume retelling of the original series. There was this weird collection of like 4-panel skits and comics about both the GU and the original series characters. There were the GU novels that I was collecting at a time too. There must have been something else, but I felt like anything GU related always had to do with like retelling the story. Like, there was actually a movie for GU that was just basically all 3 games, but they just, like, was more or less the cutscenes. At least that's what I heard. It never came out in English, and I was waiting for it to come out in English for a while, and then I, like, fell off the train with anime, and I just kind of lost interest altogether. Like, I don't know why, they were so hell-bent on retelling the GU story over and over and over again. Like, I mean, GU has its fans. I'm shitting on it a lot, but I mean, I know there are people out there that love this and think it far superior above the original titles, and I can see why, just from presentation values alone. But I mean, the GU games don't exactly correct a lot of the problems the original series have. I mean, they're both very repetitive series of games. They're both unnecessarily long. Like, I don't know. I really feel like neither series had any business being, like, 3 or 4 separate games. Like, I don't know what you could fit on a PS2 disc, but I don't know, man. Like, Star Ocean Till the End of Time was 2 discs, and I felt like if you could put a game like that onto 2 discs, then I really feel like you could have put the entire GU trilogy in one package to sell to somebody, instead of like doing the 3-disc thing. And same thing with especially with the original series. It's I don't know. Like, I like the episodic feel to it. But it's just like, I don't know. I guess I would have just preferred it if it was just one game and just they did like different chapters within the game itself to kind of you know, determine like points where like the mood or something big was gonna happen again. But I don't know. It's an interesting experience. Like I said way at the beginning of this game, this Let's Play, part of the reason why I wanted to do a .hack GU Let's Play is because I never really see anybody talking about .hack all that often unless they like actively go look for people talking about it. I don't see a lot of like, I don't want to say like mainstream YouTubers, but like, you know, a lot of like the big ones never really, and I'm not just talking about like Game Grumps or PewDiePie, I'm talking about like just YouTubers in general, like between the 100,000 to 500,000 subscriber count. Like, I never see a lot of people really talking about this series, even if they're like into RPGs. I think Yuri of Wind is the only YouTuber I follow that, you know, recognizes it and talks about it and admits to liking it. You know, and he does some obscure stuff to start with, so it's like, it feels like .hack is like a very niche thing, and I can't really understand like why too much, because I still feel like even though it has all of these obnoxious tropes, at least GU, in my opinion, has all these obnoxious tropes in it for the story, I feel like the game itself, as repetitive as it is, just like, I still think the setup is just really unique and interesting, and I'm kind of surprised it just doesn't really get more attention. I mean, they're bringing back this whole trilogy, plus a mysterious 4th volume, I guess, for the PS4, so, you know, someone somewhere must have been asking for it, but maybe that'll like revive some interest here.
Breath attack was too strong.
Breath attack.
Man, I thought for sure we were all done for, but instead.
Wait, no, go back. Syllabus, what breath attack? What about all those fist attacks? Oh, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to like throw my own take on the series up there somewhere on the internet, and whoever comes across it, you know, they can have like another person's opinion for it. Other .hack Let's Plays are out there, you know, people, it's not like a completely long forgotten game or anything like that. I just think it's weird, like, the most I ever really hear about .hack is maybe in a comment section of a video that was talking about RPGs, and someone will bring it up along with, like, I don't know, like Suikoden or Magna Carta. I don't know. I'm not as into RPGs as I used to be. I mean, I'll definitely still play them, but like, I do need longer and longer breaks between RPGs before I want to do one again. So I'm not really like looking at a lot of people covering them very much, so I could be wrong. Maybe it is something that's talked about more than I'm aware of, but I just don't see it out there as often, and I just wanted to, you know, throw something up there about it, because I feel like as many faults as GU has, I think it's something worth checking out. Definitely not for everybody. You know, it's definitely got a stronger focus on anime stuff in it than the first series did. And the first series, I feel like, also had a strong anime aesthetic about it too. But so if you're not into that, then it might be a bit of a hurdle to get into GU, and if you can't deal with the repetitiveness, then that might be, you know, a problem. Maybe that's why I see Dot Hack talked about within anime circles more than game circles. It was like that when I was in high school too. Like I knew like 5 to 1 people I talked to that knew anything about Dot Hack. They were more familiar with the anime Dot Hack sign than with the actual games themselves. I don't think I knew anyone in school that actually had any of the games. I think they just had experience with the anime Dot Hack sign. I remember talking to a couple people and saying like they had a friend that had it and they tried it at their house, but. And then I remember on Toonami, I think, when Toonami was still around in the afternoons on weekdays, one of their segments was about Dot Hack too. I can't remember. Man, I miss those old Toonami bumpers though. I'm so glad there's like a place on YouTube where you can go and look at them now. But yeah, before we wrap up things here, I'm just cleaning up inventory a little bit. I'll visit the rest of the Vital Vistas just to see what I can get out of them. Probably should have done that first before I went through all the selling and everything, but yeah, this is Volume 1 coming to an end. We had a sort of challenging post-game boss. The post-game boss in Volume 2, I thought was, it's a callback to the first series. First generation, really. I won't spoil anything more from there, but, which I was originally thinking was cooler. I like where you fight it more, anyway, but, with Volume 3's story, the way it's going for me right now, I kind of feel like I've had enough of the callbacks just for the sake of callbacks. You know, I feel like in these, I'm always worried, because it's like, how much am I possibly not to say about this series without repeating myself over and over again? Like, can I do this in the whole Let's Play? And I think I've had a pretty easy time finding things to talk about in the first game alone, but once we get to some more story stuff, and I won't have to worry about, like, spoiling major spoilers, I think I'll have more I can talk about, because right now I'm kind of in a mindset where I really just want to talk about, like, future events and why they bother me, and all this stuff is just like, it's so in the past for me. It's so last month. But we're almost done. My dog's barking. He's had enough of this shit too. Someone's outside, I guess. Who's outside? Don't they know I'm recording in here? Don't they know I'm complaining about a 10-year-old video game on the internet like a mature, rational adult? I tell you, man, neighbors, they're the absolute worst. The nerve of them walking on the sidewalk outside my house like it was public property or something. You gotta be kidding me with this. Wow, we talked to 31 people, and we got 1 magic attack item. Like I said, very not worth it to be doing these Vital Vista quests. I could, I don't know, maybe something really good happens when you get them all, but I really don't think they're worth it at all. But anyway, guys, so that was the bonus episode, just a little chilled out last last look around Volume 1, cleaning up our last post-game things before we close up the Let's Play for the first volume and begin the Let's Play for the second volume. Second volume I really like for the good things that happened. It was my favorite volume for a while. I think I kind of have grown a soft spot for the first volume. I don't know. I guess I'll explain that more when we do things in volume 2. But get one last good look at Macanu's Harbor, and we'll see you next time for volume 2. Bye, everybody.